So we are back here with Bill Stierle, and we are going to role play because now we have a few minutes to actually do that. And I'm super
To do.
excited because I'm going to get some value out of this. Yay, I always get value when I speak with Bill. And the first thing Bill always says, by the way, when he speaks with any of his clients or colleagues is, how can I make your day better? How can I make this podcast better? How can I make this meeting better? So he wants to look at the outcome before we even go into the meeting so that you give him a menu or a recipe for success. So that's something that we should all do with our clients, and I
So
think that I'm
important.
going to ingrain this in my brain.
So
So
important. Yeah. Making people's life wonderful and better is like the best thing ever, because you teach the brain how to swing for the fence, how to hit the home run. What would make your life wonderful is different. Well, it's not wonderful if you're doing this, putting the dishes away necessarily. But hey, if you can make your life wonderful by getting a major success in your business, Lauren, let's do that.
you
So
know
give
what
me
makes my life wonderful? I'm going to tell you something that's really made my life wonderful in the past few weeks. I have this housekeeper that comes in a couple of hours, 3 days a week. And every time she shows up, like we needed to start this podcast after she showed up. She's here now, and I'm calm, and she's cleaning and doing and organizing, and I'm like, every time it's so good. I know my house is clean. I love it. So I don't know if men feel the same way, but I got to tell
oh
you
yes,
that yeah, that
oh
was
yeah,
one of
oh yeah.
my biggest
Excellent.
successes, I guess, was when as soon as I had enough funds, I did that. That's a self-care, a
It is total
self-preservation.
self-care, self-care, self-preservation.
Mhm.
When we can get their need for support met and cleanliness and order, out of the world we live in, and we're not spending our time, because that's really our resource. Our the highest resource we have is time.
Time for sure.
And if we're looking at the value that we're exchanging our time with, and if there's something I can say or do that saves you time, Lauren, what a difference that makes.
So
So
much.
you're not spending, a month or two on a client trying to go back and forth with email. We send one email, it works, and you're halfway down the path already. You're going like, holy crap, that one email did it.
So let's get to that one email. So we
Okay, I'm
have
ready.
two situations that we're gonna role play a little.
Good.
In situation one, there's a client that doesn't speak that English is not their native language, and I am not. I'm very nominal in their language, Spanish. So it's a large family, multiple visas from a country that's in a lot of trouble right now due to COVID, due to politics, all of this. They want to get out. They have a bit of money, but they're very hesitant to spend it because obviously it's their nest egg. So, and they're paying for four different family members. Client
Awesome.
is concerned mainly because of the language barrier.
Right.
And there's a lot of money involved, and they want to make sure that they understand every step of the way. Now, I do have Spanish speaking colleagues, I have a Spanish speaking assistant, but I'm not a Spanish speaker. So their concern is valid to a point, but how do we overcome that concern and give them the comfort level that they need to be able to move forward?
So these are situations I deal with daily. So here's and it's actually going to be easier as I talk about it, but it's just a little slight language change on your side and for the listener to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So the way human beings run, our software is language. And that software has a junky language or it has effective language.
Okay.
So the most effective language is not problem solving. The most effective language is empathy before problem solving.
Empathy. Okay.
Now, empathy, what does that really mean? Well, guess what? Most people have a crappy definition for empathy. So now I got to give a really good definition of empathy. So here's the definition and a practical definition, because empathy only occurs when a feeling word and a need word are connected and then agreed upon.
Feeling, need.
That's right. And it's agreed upon with the word yes. So my first sentence to them would be this sentence. Could you be feeling hesitant and a little confused, and you need some clarity about how this is going to work? Comma, is that correct? So I used two feeling words and I used one need word.
Mhm.
The feeling words were hesitant and confused, and the need word was the
Clarity.
need for clarity. Clarity is the target. So the next sentence you'll write down is this sentence. What would clarity look for? What would clarity look like for you? What kind of clarity can I provide at this step? What kind of clarity do you need next? See, Lauren, one of the problems that people have is that you have all of the steps down in your head, or even on paper, you have all the steps. But the person that's meeting you is at the beginning. So you need to know what step of clarity do they need, or what step of understanding do they need this one. And then that'll open up to the next thing they don't know, the next thing they don't know, the next thing they don't know, next thing they don't know. So you want to ask it, and what does clarity look for you with this? Then they are going to say this sentence. Try not to let your jaw drop down. Well, how do I know if this is real, or am I going to lose my money? That's the need for trust. That's not the need for clarity. Now we've moved off of clarity. Now we've moved to the need for trust. Then this sentence is your next sentence. Oh, could you be feeling doubtful and skeptical, and you need some more trust, and you need somebody to support you with the documentation so you know that it's true? The two needs are trust and truth.
Mhm.
The two feelings are doubtful and skeptical. The hardest thing, Lauren, is not to take this personally, because it
Yes,
isn't.
always, for sure.
Hardest thing is you think it's about your respect, your trust, your no, your clarity. I need to explain more. No, do not explain more, Lauren. You've got to, because if you explain more, you'll explain the entire process. They don't want the entire. They
No.
just need clarity on the next step,
Yeah.
because they have to learn with you that trust is a process. Write it down.
That's
And
so true, Bill, especially when you're dealing with foreign investors or foreign nationals, because
so
they don't, there's a lot of steps. I mean, I've been there myself, and there's a lot of considerations. You're moving to another country, you're not just setting up a company. And so
all
if you can give them baby steps instead of overwhelming them, it can be so much better.
one need at a time.
One need at a time.
One need at a time, one sentence at a time.
Hmm.
So we read the subtext of whatever they're saying. We find out what the need is. And Lauren, there's people that have sent me contracts and I debrief the contracts. People have sent me emails and I debrief the email. Oh, this is what they're really asking for. They go, they are? How'd you get that? I go, these 4 words. These 4 words told me that trust was not between you and them.
I see.
These 5 words told me that fairness was not available. These 7 words told me that respect was a problem. Our language is written in context, but what I teach is how to speak and write in subtext.
Yeah.
So
Is it
you can,
limbic messaging a little bit too?
limbic messaging is what it is, because
Yeah.
once you talk with the feeling and the need,
Yeah.
you're doing something limbic, and it's reducing a thing called the emotional load
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
inside the person's body.
Hmm. Limbic
So
messaging is definitely a key to any successful messaging campaign and discussion and communication for sure. Sure.
marketing goes into that, email communication,
Yep. Everything
information,
for sure.
everything.
Okay.
So the good news is that They're 4 words from signing a contract: clarity, understanding, truth, and trust. They're 4
Understand.
words from getting the thing. Now, when we first started talking, I said, well, they're going to be easy. You didn't think I was going to break it down to 4 words. Now, the also, there's a lot of emotion in the moving part of it because they don't have certainty quite
Right. There's
yet.
no certainty. Their
Okay.
money's at risk for sure.
And then just do it this way. Say, we are going to work to get towards certainty. We're going to find certainty together. Write the sentence down. We're going to find certainty together through pictures, through boots on the ground, through me walking you through this, because we're going to fight for certainty. Now, as soon as you say work towards certainty, or the process of certainty during the transfer, they'll actually start to feel relieved, because you're talking about the thing that is causing the feeling of fear.
Right. Fear. Right.
Could you be feeling fearful? Do you need some more certainty? They'll say yes, then say, what does certainty look like at this step? Instead of certainty is they're in a house that is the best house ever, or they're in a house that's a shack. Yeah. They don't know what certainty looks like because, quite frankly, they can't see or understand the value of what their money's going to get. You know what the marketplace is. You know what they can afford to buy. Right. And we're going to get the highest value for the money that you're spending.
I think that's another critical word, is value.
Value is an important need. And we want to make sure that we are able to be transparent with the value of what this transition is bringing to you. Transparent with the value. Well, what does that mean? Well, here's a link that you can go look at the value in the city you want to move to. Here's what my recommendations are inside that city. Here are other people you can call, or call sources on your own. Or if you want me to vet the sources, I can do that too. So you can have trust that way. You got to get them from adversarial. I'm holding my 2 fingers up like I'm shooting a gun here, to allies. That's what.
Right. That you're working with them.
Working with them.
Right.
You're working together to find.
You're not selling them something. You're guiding them through a process.
No, you're guiding them through the process. Yeah. It's all about the process things. Okay. So is that helpful with the first one?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. And certainly, I mean, these are really important points for all of our listeners to think about, especially like when you're investing and making sure, let's see, you're creating a joint venture partnership. You have to build these elements, these words, these empathy words, these feeling words into your relationship in order to build that relationship of clarity and trust and transparency. And I think that those are important considerations. So let's go on to the second one real quick, because we only have about 3 or 4 minutes left. So the second one is the client is very, very busy. Client needs service, perfect fit, perfect prospect, no issues other than slight concern about the price, asked me to sharpen my pencil because they'll be doing this and this and this. And I said, well, when we do this and this and this, we'll be sharpening the pencil. They want the pencil sharpened first. So I wasn't willing to do that because at this point in time, I don't have the bandwidth to, and I don't need to. And so how do we move them from, well, we're dealing with this, from excuse to signing?
Well, it sounds like that part of them would like progress, and another part of them wants both financial and emotional safety. So there's a financial piece to it, but the problem actually is more on the emotional safety part of it. Emotional safety is a kind of a strange need. It's like, I don't want to take on the emotions of others, and I don't want to spend time sorting through things. I just want the thing I want, and I want you to carry the emotion of the thing. That's what he really meant by sharpen the pencil. It looks like it's a numbers thing, but it's really of It's, I don't want too much of an emotional roller coaster when it comes to options and choices. Just give me three solid ones.
Mm-hmm.
So if something would make that client's life wonderful, what would it be? What's your best guess?
A discount?
No,
No.
it's just not a discount. See,
Okay.
it's so fun. You think it's a discount. You know what they'll do with the discount? They'll ask for 5% more.
Mm. Okay, so then you tell me.
It looks like a discount. As soon as somebody looks like a discount, you've got to think of two things: fairness and value. Yours, your fairness, your value, your time, time's the commodity. So, and wisdom and knowledge and experience is great, but time's the issue. so, so you got to like do that and say this back to me. So you would like a fair price.
So you would like a fair price, right?
They'll say yes. Now, guess what? Fair for who? Clearly not for you if they're looking for a discount, right? They're
Yeah.
looking, they're bottom feeding. They're looking to shop if they are in that place.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people will just ask because the person on the other side has a need for emotional safety and will submit and feel resentment later. Lauren, have you ever felt resentment about a deal that you made because you worked way harder on it than the time, right? Yes. Say
Yes, 100%.
enthusiastically, yes, it's 100%.
Yes.
Because that's our natural giving as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
We need to train our mind to ask for mutual fairness and professionalism.
So how do we do this?
It would say, the way I price my business services. Say that back to me.
The way I price my business services.
Now, what has just happened to your body is your body's going to shake a little bit because it's not an easy sentence to practice. Listen, the way I price my is the way my business run best is, and then there's an amount there. That's the way it works best, is when I'm doing this amount. But it doesn't sound like this amount is something that is inside your budget. Put it on them.
Okay.
Sounds like this amount is not something that is inside your budget. No, that's not it. Okay. Well, are you trying to chisel me? Or are you looking for high professionalism, wide range of services?
Do I ask them if they're trying to chisel me? No.
No, that's in your mind because the need for fairness, you've got to be an advocate for your own fairness. And you'll recognize that, well, I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but I'm not going down that road. I'm not sure if they're going to try to chisel me or if it's another need. See, I'm trying to find the other need because you and I were taught growing up through our business careers is the best way to make a customer happy is to discount your price.
Yeah.
That was one of the narratives. That is not the best way. The best way is find out what need is preventing them from paying top price. Because you probably, in knowing your extensive experience, you probably have that right, in your refrigerator somewhere that you can bring out and say, I have that. And that's why you're going to pay me top price.
Do we ask them, like, that there's a lot of sales training that says, what would it take to get you to sign today? Like, no, that's no good, right?
No. We're going to just modify that question and saying, I'm guessing that you would really, a part of you would like progress, but the amount is outside of your budget, outside your spending range, outside of your view of the value that I'm bringing to you. It's outside of it because clearly they're not looking at what the value that you're bringing. Now that's on you to say, listen, I think that the value that I'm bringing is the way I work is this price, because you are not somebody that just came out of college, out of law school. you're a person with years of experience under your belt.
Thank you. Very many years.
There you go. So they got to pay for that experience, especially because you've bundled it with all the skill and experience needed from an entrepreneurial position, not from a legal position, not from a real estate position fully, but from an entrepreneurial. This is going to best serve you because I can see your vision and I'm just looking to figure out how to get you out of the way to say yes, so that you can sign the contract so I can get you where you need to go. And you can see me as a value person to your team. I mean, listen, and that's something that they don't see you as. You're not a hired gun. You're a valued participant. Write this sentence down. I'm bringing my executive level expertise to get this done in the shorter amount of time.
Isn't this interesting? I'm interviewing Bill and Bill's telling me to write things down. It's a very interesting podcast. You don't have this happen every day. Okay.
And I'm hoping the listeners will see that it's real to write it down in a new way so that you can transform the communication between you and them, because they're not seeing you as a valued executive ally. I just got off a conference call, two different conference calls since the last time we talked. And each one of those conference calls was, I'm showing up as a senior level executive. I am not showing up as a consultant helping them.
Right.
No, I'm going
team member.
No, I am senior level executive that you happen to be renting my wisdom, knowledge, and experience so that we can get you there. And I asked 4 questions during one thing that changed the entire tone of the meeting, and we got to where we needed to do. My 4 questions over a half an hour period catapulted them months ahead of where they would have been.
Yeah, that's the key. And that's exactly the same thing that I bring to the table, because otherwise it's just like when you're looking for a business and you work or you're looking for a home and you work on your own, you look for FSBOs and all this and you don't find it. And then you give up and you go to a professional. There's a value to professional expertise. Like Bill, as much as I would love to continue this, we must stop because I have a limited podcast time and
let's stick the landing. To stick the landing, it's the high value about a high value of applying empathy, as well as showing up from the view set of what would make that client's life wonderful and be an advocate for that.
Is it possible, do we say to them, what would make this opportunity a wonderful fit for you?
Yeah. What would make your life wonderful as you make this transition? I think that's your sweet sentence right there.
How do people reach you? I want to make sure they have a way to do that.
That's right. The best way to do that is billstierle.com is my website.
Stierle, right?
That's correct. That's right.
billstierle.com. All of this will be in the show notes, of course, but yes, absolutely. Awesome. So I want to thank you for joining us today. Do set up a consult with this gentleman. He will help to change the trajectory of your business and your life. And thank you so much. And thank you for accommodating me today. And we will get this podcast up and distribute it as soon as possible because everybody needs to know. So thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Lauren. This is Lauren Cohen signing off for today from Investing Across Borders, where we teach you strategies so that you can navigate a path to invest, live, work, and play across borders. Because we truly believe that the world is an oyster, and nowadays we have so much opportunity to be able to impact people on a global scale. So thank you for joining us. Please do subscribe to the podcast on Apple, on Spotify, on Google, and we look forward to hearing from you and hearing your comments and any questions you may have. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And by the way, you can always reach me at laurenesq.com. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.